Princess Sophie and the Mysterious Island of Calm. In the kingdom of tranquil waters, there lived Princess Sophie, who adored adventures. She was always cheerful and full of energy, but she had one problem. When things didn't go her way, her emotions would erupt like a storm at sea. The king and queen, her parents, worried about her because Sophie often became angry when she couldn't watch her favorite cartoon or had to perform some duties. One day, Sophie found an old map hidden in the castle library. The map led to a mysterious island spoken of in ancient legends. This island was said to be a place where anyone could find peace and composure. Sophie decided she must sail there and uncover the island's secret to learn how to manage her emotions. Sophie embarked on her journey in her small submarine named Sea Moon. During her voyage, she encountered many sea creatures who told her tales of the island. Dolphins said the island was magical, and wise turtles mentioned that anyone who reached it would find answers to their questions. When Sophie arrived at the island, she saw a beautiful, tranquil place. However, as soon as she began to explore, she encountered her first obstacle. She had to pass through a forest full of noisy birds that screamed and squawked. Sophie tried to make her way through the forest, ignoring the noise, but soon she began to get frustrated and shouted at the birds. It was to no avail, and the birds squawked even louder. Sophie decided to try a different approach. This time, she had a book of fairy tales with her and decided to read aloud to calm herself and the birds. For a moment it seemed to work, but the birds started squawking even louder when Sophie tried to outshout them. Exhausted and discouraged, Sophie sat on a stone and began to cry. Then a wise mermaid named Marina appeared. "Why are you crying, princess?" she asked. Sophie told her about her problems with emotions and how she couldn't get through the forest. Marina smiled and said, "Sometimes to find peace, you must first find peace within yourself. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and imagine you're in a place where you feel safe and happy." Sophie closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and imagined her room in the castle, filled with her favorite toys and books. Slowly, she began to calm down. When she opened her eyes, the birds were silent, and the forest seemed less daunting. She passed through the forest without any trouble. At the end of the forest, Sophie found a village full of island inhabitants. Each of them had their own story about how they learned to manage their emotions. One of the villagers, an old fisherman, told Sophie about the technique of counting to 10 before reacting. Another, a young girl, showed her how drawing helps her express her feelings. Sophie spent several days on the island, learning various techniques for dealing with emotions. When she returned home, she was different. When next the king and queen refused her request to watch TV, Sophie took a deep breath, counted to 10, and imagined her peaceful place. Instead of shouting, she suggested reading a book. The king and queen were astonished by Sophie's transformation. They were proud of her progress and grateful for her courage in undertaking the journey to the mysterious island of Calm. Sophie learned that controlling her emotions was possible if only she found the right tools and techniques. Sophie began sharing her newfound skills with other children in the kingdom. She organized gatherings where she taught breathing techniques, counting, and imagining peaceful places. The kingdom of tranquil waters became a place full of understanding and support for all who needed help managing their emotions. Sophie understood that everyone sometimes struggles with emotions, but it is important not to give up and to seek ways to master them. Thanks to her adventure on the mysterious island of Calm, she learned that peace begins in the heart and mind. Princess Sophie and her kingdom lived happily ever after, and each day brought new challenges and adventures that Sophie was ready to face with her newly discovered wisdom and calm. And so, thanks to her journey, Sophie became not only a princess, but also an inspiration to everyone around her.